a fun little nor'easter show and tell. Look at this side of the tree, completely bare. We can see all the bark. Oh, I have to turn away from the wind, apologies. And then we're going to come around this side. Look at all that snow and ice. It's just completely hardened on to the north side of the tree. I want to show you some of the debris that's been washed up. This was washed up during Wednesday's storm, bringing tons of sea logs and seaweed up into the street. I'll take you over here too. The victim gets a serial number associated with their kit, and then they're able to track it like you would a package. They go on the website, they type it in, and then they can see the full history of their kit and where it is now.
Yellow flag cases spiked after the Lewiston shooting, and they've remained high ever since. The law had been in effect for more than 3 years, but the vast majority of cases have been opened in just the last 10 months, suggesting that the law may only be as effective as those who are tasked with enforcing it.
But for now, the status quo remains as it is. CMP in Burson will continue to serve about 97% of our state. Although I will say supporters here tonight told us that they trust him. They think he's someone that's relatable, reliable, trustworthy. We're definitely seeing some solid wind here. It continues to pick up. And when it really gusts, it's that type of wind that forces you to just shut your eyes. I'll show you something a little embarrassing. I've been working on a snowman, and it did not go well. So it's not snowman building weather either. It may sound crazy, but while you're sitting at home trying to cool off, you may want to place an order for heating oil. I'll tell you why. No need to head down to the station or call the police. In Bangor, sexual assault survivors will soon have access to real-time updates about their case at their fingertips.
They get some power back, they have their number, they can log into the system and know exactly where that kid is at any given time.
When a victim chooses to report a sexual assault, they'll typically go to a hospital where a nurse spends hours documenting injuries and collecting DNA samples. The result is a kit that will include everything from pubic hair to bed sheets. After it's complete, it's sent to a police department. If the district attorney decides to pursue a criminal case, that kit is then sent to the state crime lab for testing. Until now, Maine has never tracked sexual assault kits, which means victims are usually in the dark about where their kit is and whether it's even been tested.
The tracking system is based off of a program used in Idaho. The victim gets a serial number associated with their kit, and then they're able to track it like you would a package. They go on the website, they type it in, and then they can see the full history of their kit and where it is now. If it's not going to be tested, they'll be able to see that too, creating transparency.
I can't imagine there's any law enforcement officer in the state of Maine that wouldn't want to be on board with such an easy, accessible program, not only for the victim's benefit, but for our benefits on the day-to-day.
3 law enforcement agencies, 2 prosecutors' offices, and 2 hospitals are participating. It's all funded by a federal grant.
I'm really excited about it because it's been a long time coming.
Down the road, this pilot will result in new data about where sexual assaults are happening and just how many untested kits are sitting in local police departments. Since testing isn't required, and because there hasn't been any oversight, that's a big unknown.
As you can see here, these date from 2016 all the way to 2023. And we go on estimate right now. We fill an entire one of these big brown boxes about every 4 months.
In Bangor alone, there are 101 sexual assault kits associated with known victims that haven't been tested. That's 101 victims who may be out there looking for answers.
And it keeps growing and growing and growing and growing.
The pilot program is set to launch in Augusta and Bangor sometime next month. It could lay the groundwork for a future statewide tracking system. Reporting in Bangor, I'm Norah Hogan for 8 Investigates.
When pretrial inmates are released on bail, some victims often find themselves fearing for their lives.
In certain circumstances, electronic monitoring can help. But after months of data collection, 8 Investigates found that it's only widely used in a couple of Maine counties.
So Norah Hogan joins us live here tonight. And Norah, I know you've contacted every sheriff's office in the state about this issue. What did you hear? What are they telling you?
Well, John, Megan, I found out that electronic monitoring is only available for pretrial inmates in 9 counties. And in most cases, it's used sparingly. 2 dads who lost their daughters to domestic violence homicide say that it's time for change.
Even the first time when they bailed him out, he should have had a monitor. But then after the second time, He definitely should have had a monitor. And of course, it wasn't in effect then.
Ralph Bagley lost his daughter, Amy Lake, and grandkids Monica and Cody to domestic violence homicide in 2010. Amy's ex-husband was out on bail at the time of the murder. Bagley since made it his mission to advocate for monitoring, and he's found company.
If we had an ankle bracelet program in our county, then maybe she would have done something, knowing that she really had protection.
Van Skin's daughter, Stephanie Gin-Gibo, was killed by her ex-boyfriend in 2015. She hadn't pressed charges against him because she didn't trust that the system would help her.
Charging has stopped.
Electronic monitoring isn't a perfect fix, but experts say that it can be very helpful, allowing inmates to re-enter society while they await trial and providing victims with an extra layer of security by giving police officers more lead time.
Without the electronic monitoring, we wouldn't know that there was even an issue.
That's Aroostook County Sheriff Peter Johnson. His county uses electronic monitoring more than anywhere else in the state, averaging 35 users a week.
It gives you that in-between for individuals that are justice involved that don't necessarily fit within the correctional setting.
Johnson says it's helped keep the jail below capacity. It can be especially useful in domestic violence cases.
Victims have reported that they felt much more safe knowing that the person who has caused harm to them is on an electronic monitoring program. They also have felt much more supported and informed by the criminal legal system about the process.
Usage across the 9 counties varies. Our point-in-time survey showed usage ranging from 0 to 40 inmates on monitoring at one time, raising questions about whether it's really being taken advantage of. In some cases, judges may be confused about availability.
If it was the same program across statewide and that judges were familiar, then they knew exactly what to expect in every county that they might have presided over, it might be more efficiently utilized.
Counties who don't use monitoring say that bad cell reception and tight staffing make GPS monitoring challenging. Others say that it's too expensive.
It does cost something, but not as much as some other programs that we involve ourselves in. And our state's supposed to protect its people, and they're not. It's worth whatever it takes.
The local cost for counties with monitoring ranges from just $3,000 a year to nearly $20,000 annually.
If we could get this ankle bracelet throughout the state, through the works of people that have lost loved ones to domestic violence, murder, or just murder, we can rejoice. Look at the legacy it would be. Maybe no one else will lose somebody.
There's no doubt in my mind, if that had been in effect that day, they would have been here right now. We wouldn't be sitting in these chairs here with these names on them.